you looking to up your real estate investing game? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Sub 2 Deals Show with your host, Sub 2 expert William Tingle.
Hey, Sub-Tours. My name's William Tingle of sub2deals.com. I would like to welcome you to this episode of the Sub-2 Deals Show. Once again, we're coming to you live from the Beauregard House in the French Quarter, New Orleans. We're down here for our event this September, Sub-2 Palooza. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you can go to sub2palooza.com and get those. We'd love to have you down here. We're going to have over a dozen of most respected names in real estate teaching for 2 full days. And if you're a Sub-2 Deals coaching student, you get a third bonus day. In addition to going out with us on the City of New Orleans riverboat and having dinner and networking with all of our speakers and sponsors. So if you haven't got your tickets, get over there and get those. We'd love to have you down here with us. Today, I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about closing costs when you buy a property subject to. Now, I had somebody send me an email a couple of days ago, and we had a few exchanges about closing costs and what you can expect to pay in closing costs when you take a property subject to. And that's really going to depend on a few things, starting with what you negotiate with your seller. Now, one of the attractive things about selling to us and selling Sub-2, especially for one of our main targets, which is low equity deals, is that in a lot of cases, people would have to come out of pocket to sell their house. Like, for example, you take a house that's worth $300,000 and maybe the sellers just bought it a year or two ago. Maybe they're military, maybe they're getting divorced, maybe they got a job transfer, whatever the case may be. Especially with VAs. We see this a lot with VA loans. They can buy houses with nothing down, and they allow them to roll some of the closing cost in. So you take that $300,000 house, maybe it was financed for $310,000. A year later, they get orders. They have to move across the country, and they still owe over $300,000 on a house that's only worth $300,000. Now, if they listed that house at 10% average closing cost, which they would, cost to sell, they would probably be looking at coming out of pocket $30,000 to sell that house. But guess what? We can take over the payments on it, buy that house, not have them come out of pocket 1 cent. That's a big incentive to them to sell to us. But in that case, what can we look at to be closing costs to buy that property? Well, it's going to depend on a couple of things moving forward. First of all, do you close your Sub-2 purchases with an attorney or a title company? A lot of people do that, and that's fine. You can certainly do that. We close probably 95% of our transactions as a self-close, is what we call it. We close it with a mobile notary, or if we're on location there, we'll actually handle that ourselves at a bank or any place that has a notary. So in that case, if you're going to self-close, you're probably looking at total cost of under $500. Now, that'll include paying someone for a title search, paying a notary, any other incidentals. And actually, you can do it a lot cheaper than that. If you're actually self-closing and doing most of that stuff yourself, you can probably look at getting away with doing that for under $250. Now, if you're going to use a title company, if you're going to use an attorney to close, you're probably looking at cost of between $500 to $1,000. And there are also some other variants to that. What kind of state are you in? Are you in a state that has really high transfer taxes and you don't use a trust? Because in a lot of states, using a trust will let you avoid those transfer taxes.
The Sub-2 Deals Show with your host, Sub-2 expert William Tingle. We'll be right back.
Listen up, investors. Ever wanted to learn the right way to do a loan modification? Strong Jacob and Associates has a do-it-yourself course complete with text, video, and legal support. Learn the right way to lower monthly payments and add real value to a distressed seller while you improve your monthly cash flow by securing lower mortgage payments via loan modification. Don't delay. Visit www.preventforeclosure.us or give Kevin a call today at 253-753-9595.
Back to the show, the Sub-2 Deals Show with your host, Sub-2 expert William Tingle.
Now, there's some questions about whether or not you should do that. You're actually transferring title to somebody else and beneficial interest in a trust. So should you avoid paying those transfer taxes? Is that an ethical thing to do? Well, in my opinion, it is. If the county just makes an assumption that that's an in-family situation, they're just transferring it to a trust, it's a loophole that you can use to not pay those transfer taxes, then absolutely we do that. And it's starting to rain here in New Orleans. But at any rate, so there are some variants there to whether or not you're going to pay $1,000 in closing costs or a couple of $100. And those are typically the variants. Otherwise, your closing costs are going to be much less expensive than they are normally with a traditional buy through a bank or with cash. So if you have any questions on that, you can email me at william@sub2deals.com. Send me a Facebook Messenger, and we'll be glad to cover those for you. So that's it on closing costs. We're going to get out of the rain here in New Orleans, talk to some sellers, and buy some houses.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Sub2 Deals Show with William Tingle. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit sub2deals.com, on Facebook at Sub2 Deals. We'll catch you next time.